A museum is a mirror where society sees itself stripped of makeup and filters. When a city chooses to build a museum of contemporary art, it chooses dialogue over silence, a conversation with the past, the future, and its own soul. Almaty chooses to speak, and the first voice in that conversation is architecture. The Almaty Museum of Arts opens with a facade where Jurassic limestone meets aluminum. A handshake between mountains and metropolis. Stone holds the memory of the Tian Shan. Metal catches the city's pulse, its shimmering roads, its glass towers. This new temple of art offers a vision where tradition and modernity aren't rivals. They are co-authors. This isn't a place where you have to see it all in 2 hours. The museum doesn't offer a sprint. It invites a stroll. You can sit by the panoramic window and watch the sunset turn steel beams to amber. And in that moment, you realize the space itself is an exhibit, just a very large one. The exhibition unfolds like a journey through decades of Kazakhstani art. The Konaktar Hall showcases paintings and graphics from the 1960s, alongside artists of the transitional 1990s. Next to them, 21st century installations, video art, international collaborations, and names that echo across global biennales. This isn't about flashy posters. It's about sparking a dialogue between past and present and discovering with quiet wonder that they finish each other's sentences.
Такие коллаборации мы будем проводить все время, потому что
We'll keep creating these kinds of collaborations because a museum isn't just a vault of treasures or heritage. It's a living organism. It walks, it breathes. It's what we call a third place, beyond home and work, a space for leisure. But we offer a different kind of leisure, cultural, intellectual, a place where you can learn something new or simply unwind.
Здесь можно не только подтянуть какие-то знания или получить новые знания, но также отдохнуть, в принципе.
Contemporary art doesn't have to be liked. It has to stir something. Here, you don't need to understand everything to be part of it. You can disagree and still be a welcome voice in the conversation. Beyond exhibitions, the museum hosts lectures, workshops, art mediations, and open discussions, where school kids and scholars sit side by side, asking equally bold questions. It's a public space where it's okay to sigh, wonder, make mistakes, and laugh. And yes, to take photos, because in the 21st century, a selfie by an artwork isn't sacrilege. It's a way of joining the dialogue about beauty and meaning.
Вы знаете, мы не продумывали такую политику, что это будет самое фотографируемое место.
You know, we never planned for this to become the most photographed spot in the city, but it happened. Our architecture is striking, and the exhibits inside spark real interest, a desire to capture the moment. A historic moment, I'd even say.
В этом моменте, в этом историческом моменте, я прямо не побоюсь этого слова. Вот, и поэтому...
And when we see people taking photos, posing near the works, we are genuinely happy. Everything here invites photography. The landscape around the museum, the building itself, the interior. It's also unusual for our visitors. They want to take something with them, a memory.
Сама архитектура, внутренний интерьер музея – это очень необычно для наших посетителей, поэтому люди пытаются как-то вот себе на память что-то оставить.
Museum architecture often reads like a chronicle of its time. The Louvre sparked a revolution with a single pyramid. Glass at the heart of a classical palace once felt provocative. Now it's a symbol of the city. The Pompidou Centre turned its inner workings outward, declaring that what usually hidden deserves attention. Tate Modern moved into a power station, transforming industrial mass into a sanctuary for contemporary art. And in Bilbao, Frank Gehry's titanium curves gave birth to the Bilbao Effect, a museum that became an engine of urban renewal and tourism.
Мы, честно говоря, не ожидали, что наш новый музей вызовет настолько большой...
Honestly, we didn't expect our new museum to spark such excitement among visitors and locals alike.
На самом деле,
And we're thrilled. In just the first 3 days, we welcomed 14,000 guests. That's unprecedented. Not just for Kazakhstan, but for all of Central Asia. In the first month, 60,000 people came through our doors. And nearly 40% of them were young people. Children, school students, university students.
38%, почти 40%.
You know, we didn't set out to define Almaty in a specific way. Our goal was the opposite, to place our city within a global context.
Алматы каким-то определенным городом. Мы хотели, наоборот, вписать наш город в глобальный контекст.
A museum's place in the city matters. From the outside, it's restrained, almost minimalist. Inside, it feels like a well-edited documentary. Rhythm, light, pauses. 2 sculpted Latin L's in the building's volume form a quiet symbol, a union between city and mountains. Almaty residents quickly made it their own. Some drop by after work for an hour, some come on dates, some shelter from the rain by the panoramic window and find themselves unexpectedly absorbed in a video installation for 15 minutes. Around the museum, the city responds. Cafes extend their hours. Students meet here. The museum isn't a monolith. It's a catalyst. Almaty is a city that moves to a rhythm, and the museum moves with it. You can stop in for 30 minutes or lose yourself for half a day.
Музей построен вообще по высочайшим стандартам музейного дела именно вот в современном мире. То есть для меня...
This museum was built to the highest standards of contemporary museology. What matters most to me is that the architecture invites guests to slow down, to find moments of calm. It changes how we experience art. Here you can breathe, you can rest, you can refresh your visual palette. In the past, we'd rushed through foreign museums in 2 hours, trying to see everything. But modern museum design encourages a different pace, to explore art on your own terms, to pause when you want, to take in only what you need. It's wonderful to have a space where you can relax, reflect, and connect. Guests come not just to look, but to talk, to share, to experience a true third place.
Можно дышать, отдыхать, расслабляться, задумываться и также общаться. То есть также гости приходят и имеют возможность такого третьего пространства, где также можно поговорить друг с другом, что-то обсудить.
The museum positions itself as the largest of its kind in Central Asia. With over 9,000 square meters, it houses not only galleries, but lecture halls, media zones, workshop spaces, and a welcoming environment for every visitor.
We are currently developing a guided tour program for visitors with visual impairments. We are working on audio guides tailored to their needs. And in the future, we plan to create small tactile bas-reliefs, replicas of artworks they can touch, feel, and explore, so they can experience the essence of each piece, how it's made, what it conveys.
The museum opened with over 700 works. Paintings, graphics, sculpture, installations, video art. Most are by Kazakh masters of the Soviet era from the 1950s to the 1980s. But alongside them are contemporary and international voices, deliberately placed to spark dialogue. Among the key names in the collection, Aisha Galimbayeva, Salikiddin Aidbayev, Shaim Mardan Sariev.
Мне кажется, можно, вот современное искусство Казахстана в целом поделить на волны.
I think Kazakh contemporary art can be seen in waves. The first wave, artists like Rustam Khalfin, Elen Viktor Vorobyev's, Almagul Saule, they emerged during the collapse of the Soviet Union and the collapse of its ideology.
Делись на распаде Советского Союза и на распаде идеологии того времени. В то время как новая волна...
Then came a new wave, starting around 2010-2015, which continues to grow today. It places Kazakhstan in a global context. in tune with contemporary trends influenced by social media and shaped by travel and global exchange.
Трендов, которые мы чувствуем на себе, как бы и через социальные сети, да, и в том числе через путешествия по миру.
Young artists raised in independent Kazakhstan confidently explore themes of memory, identity, urban life, and ecology. Some treat ornament like a musical motive, weaving it into digital textures. Some work with archives, personal and civic. Some turn data into poetry, diagrams, sounds, flickering screens. All of it designed to evoke what words can't quite express. That's the role of a contemporary museum, to be a mediator between generations, between artist and viewer.
Так как мы сейчас все-таки работаем в контексте современности и современного искусства,
Since we are working within the context of contemporary art, we can't treat art as something to simply consume. As a museum, as an institution, we have a responsibility to build dialogue between the audience and the art. It shouldn't be one-way lesson from above. Visitors should be active participants in that exchange.
Чтобы это не было как бы учение сверху, но также чтобы и аудитория могла активно участвовать в этом процессе, в этом диалоге.
That's why, beyond exhibitions, we also create educational programs that engage with discourse. The series Shaping Contemporary Art Today. And we try to bring those ideas into public life in Kazakhstan, into conversation about political, social, and economic change.
С которыми мы работаем сейчас, да, в современном искусстве, но также и пытаемся внедрить это в общественные процессы в Казахстане, да, когда мы говорим о каких-то...
It's crucial to remember the role of art mediation, to make the institution more human, not just a place of preservation, but a space for context, for connection.
Помнить о такой об арт-медиации, о инклюзивности, о том, чтобы институция была ближе.
A place where the audience can help share the questions we ask. About the future we want to build together. About how the museum's collection should evolve. About what matters most to society right now.
Помочь задавать вопросы самой институции о будущем, которое мы хотим построить все вместе. Да, о том, как должна формироваться и коллекция музея, что важно сейчас для общества.
The museum's opening was marked by two exhibitions. The first, a retrospective of Almagul Menlibayeva titled I Understand Everything. It spans 3 decades of her practice, blending painting, video, performance, and textile. The title refers to one of her early works from the late 1980s, a fragmented image read as a metaphor for a collapsing era and the search for new identities. Feminine, urban, post-Soviet. It's her first major museum survey in Kazakhstan. The second, a curated exhibition titled Konaktar, which means guests in Kazakh. At its heart, nomadic culture and everyday rituals expressed through painting, graphics, and media.
Для меня хорошая экскурсия – это комбинация эстетических свойств.
To me, a great tour is a blend of aesthetics, storytelling, and facts. I love sharing stories about artists, how they arrived at their ideas, how their practice evolved. We are drawn to stories. And a truly good tour is when guests say, "You transported us. It felt like we traveled to another world." That's what matters. And of course, staying grounded in facts and specific artworks, that's part of being professional and presenting art with integrity.
Конкретных произведений искусства также важно для профессионализма и для профессиональной подачи.
Today, this museum is a laboratory of meaning, a space for dialogue, a source of cultural energy. Elsewhere, they build museums of the future, repurpose industrial buildings, or open modest, cozy spaces for local communities. But the goal is the same: to express, to speak. In that sense, Almaty Museum of Arts is a place where the conversation finds its true voice. Because museums aren't built for art. Art can live in a studio. Museums are built for cities.